Hey guys! I just got done making my other video, obviously. I'm gonna get on here and do the signs and symptoms video now because I just got done making my other video, which was for kind of us getting diagnosed with autism and how that went and all of that good jazz. And so, let's go. Try to make this video not as long as my last one. My last one was like 22 minutes, I think. So, like I said, just really quick, a disclaimer here. All of these symptoms may or may not be related to autism for your child. Some of these could just be sensory issues. Some of these could just be completely normal for your child who doesn't even have autism. So these are not 100% saying that your child has autism. This is just my son personal experience. He is 22 months. He's almost 2 years old. These are his signs and symptoms of autism and what they were before this is what we had before he got diagnosed. So that's it. Okay, let's go. The first symptom was hand flapping. Just a little happy flappy. It's so cute. Lots of people call it happy flapping. So he, like, when he would get excited, he would just kind of, like flap his arms, and it's super cute, but it's a sign of autism. And that was one that we had. And even sometimes when he would get upset, he could kind of flap his hands. Okay, so the W sitting, and who would have thought, because I did not know that W sitting had anything to do with that. But I mean, I came to find that out. I actually knew or found out when we were doing the speech therapy. He scored lower because he was W sitting, and I was like, what does that have to do with anything? But I think it's a sensory issue. Which we knew he had the sensory disorder, sensory processing disorder, before we found out he had autism. So he had delayed speech. He still has it, sorry. And he had some words that he was saying, but he lost those words. And now he's only saying like mama and dada. He's now saying wawa, but he had a couple words that he was saying, and he completely lost those. They just like went away, and he does not say them anymore. So kind of like, which that can really be, I would say, I don't want to say a bad sign, but that is, I mean, it's cause for concern. And if your child has found some words and they said them for a while, maybe a month or two or whatever, and all of a sudden you haven't heard them say it in weeks or 2 weeks or a month or whatever, yeah, I mean, I would definitely write that down and definitely tell your doctor. So basically learning things and then all of a sudden losing it and almost seeming like he doesn't even know how to do it anymore, or he or she. Okay, next thing is eye contact. He does not have good eye contact, and eye contact also makes him very uncomfortable. He doesn't like to stare at you in the eyes. And just make sure too that if your child is having poor eye contact, make sure that they can actually see, okay? Because like obviously they're not totally blind. I'm talking about like if they may have blurry vision. So you do have to look at that too. My son, we knew that he could see just by his behavior and things that he was doing. It wasn't like a connection. So if we were trying to interact and play with him, he may look at you, but it would be extremely brief. It would be like, if he's over here, sitting here and playing, he would be, that's it. It was never like, mommy's talking to you, you look at me. It was never like some type of interaction or things like that. And then sometimes if you look at him, he'll like almost look down, or you know, if you're looking at him and he puts his head down, makes him extremely uncomfortable for eye contact. He's not a very affectionate person. My other two are going to get diagnosed. They have not been diagnosed yet, but we do think that they have it because both of them have had a lot of similar symptoms, not all the same, but and then also remember, if you get diagnosed, one sibling gets diagnosed, it is double the chances of another sibling having it if one of your siblings got diagnosed with autism. So he's not very affectionate. My other two were affectionate, which also, again, just because your child is affectionate does not mean that they do not have autism. So my other two were really like affectionate with me, like hugs and kisses mommy and things like that, and he was not. He's never been that way. He's I got him to learn, I got him to understand how to kiss at one point, but now he completely lost that as well. It took a very long time for me to get him to want to kiss sometimes, and I mean that took an extremely long time, and it only lasted for probably like a month, and then it completely went away. So like I said, again, it went away. So something that he maybe had that he could do, and now it's gone. He doesn't even understand how to do it anymore. Okay, and then he covers his ears a lot. He can get extremely overwhelmed when it comes to loud noises. Like for instance, vacuum cleaners, he tends to go like this. If I put my blender on, I make sure he's out of the room now, obviously. Like when I started to suspect that he had it, I started taking him out of the room. But before I knew how he was going to react to this, I had turned the blender on because we make smoothies. I like to get up and make smoothies in the morning. And I was making the smoothie, and I had turned around, and he was sitting here like this, going like this, just like hitting his ears because it was like too much for him. So that was kind of symptoms too. But even before I got that blender and started doing all that, months before this, I mean, since he was like 1 year old, maybe even younger than that, he's always been extremely like, just like overwhelmed by sounds. So like my other two will play, for instance, and I don't personally feel like it's loud, but again, like I said, I don't feel like it's loud, but for him it's a lot. And so they'll just be running around the house playing, and I remember one day he came and stood between kind of like came and stood between me and the counter when I was in the kitchen and the kids were in the living room playing, and I just remember him kind of getting by me and crouching down and like covering his ears, like it was just too much. He wanted to get away from the situation. So he doesn't interact well with others, not meaning that he doesn't, I don't want to say like he doesn't interact well, meaning like in a negative way, like he's not aggressive towards anyone or is mean to anybody. He just doesn't engage. That's a better word. He does not engage. So let's see, he has lots of cousins. He's got 2 brothers. My oldest is 5 and my other son is 3. So you can put a bunch of kids in a room and everyone will be on this side of the room playing and interacting with each other, and Sebastian will be over here. He'll be playing, of course, but he'll be by himself. He doesn't really interact with other kids. Not saying he never will or that he never has, but it is not something he does on a regular basis at all. It's just too much for him. Let's see. Okay, so he lines things up. He takes Matchbox cars, and instead of kind of like playing with them, most kids vroom, 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 or whatever, he actually will just take them, organize them, line them up. He likes to go in my Tupperware cabinet in the house and pull all that out, and he'll take it all out and put it on the living room floor, go get back, get more, and he'll sit there and line all my Tupperware up and organize all my Tupperware up. He does that with other toys as well. And if you disrupt that, he gets extremely upset. He doesn't like all that to be out of order. So he will throw himself on the floor sometimes. He will bang his head on the floor. He will self-harm. He will pull his hair. He will scratch himself. He will even bite or scratch you, or if you are in his vicinity, like in his area at all. If you were in the way. So, let's see. He has like repetitive behavior. He will take a laundry basket of mine that has clothes in it. He will pick it up, dump it out, or turn it over, dump all the clothes out, and then take all the clothes, put all the clothes back in, and he will continue to do that, and for a long period of time. And let's see. He does not like when his hands are messy. After he gets done eating, he will scream and scream and scream until I can get to him to do that, like I said. And then when he screams when he wants something, obviously he has speech delay, so he's not really talking, but he will just scream. He doesn't normally. Sometimes he will bring me what he wants, like, and that the only thing that he brings me if he wants something is his sippy cup. So he will bring me his sippy cup, but he will scream without looking at me. He does not interact with me. He doesn't look back to that eye contact. He does not look at me and hand me the sippy cup. He will walk up to me, not look at me at all in the face, hand me the sippy cup, and just scream until I get the sippy cup. So he doesn't know how to he's not interacting and connecting with me to do that for him, but he's also not using his words, obviously, because he has speech delay right now. So he's not really sure how to communicate that to me, so he just screams. And then that goes for other things too. Sometimes he'll just scream, and I actually have to figure out what is wrong. He's very particular about some things on his feet. He wants shoes on or socks on the majority of the time. If he gets really obsessed with having a full zip up of the sleepers on, where they cover everything, all the way to your wrists, all the way to your feet, and they cover your feet as well. He loves those, but sometimes he tends to sit there and mess with the sleeves constantly to make sure they're perfect and in the right spot on his wrist, that they're down and perfect for him. He does not. He gets really upset if you take those off, but so sometimes I obviously don't like to bring him everywhere in a sleeper, so I will just have to make sure that I put socks on him and shoes on him like immediately after. I have to hurry up and dress him. He just doesn't want his feet. He gets really upset if you take that stuff off his feet. So he doesn't like the way the carpet or like the different textures of the floor feels on his feet. So, and that could just be the processing issue that he has, but it was a symptom for us. And I remember even the doctor asking about certain things like that as well. So I know that it has to be somewhat of a autism symptom as well, because everything that I've mentioned here, she asked me about. So I know the specialist was interested in those things as well. Oops, sorry. Okay. He struggles. He is delayed a little bit when it comes to food. Now he eats well. He just does not like, or I'm sorry, he just he doesn't. Sometimes he stuffs his mouth so full that he doesn't realize that he needs to slowly eat. Like he needs to just take a bite, chew it, swallow it, and then go for more. He sometimes does not realize that, and he struggles with that a little bit and will stuff his face completely, and then he'll either throw up or have to spit it all out and try again. So he struggles with that. He eats well for the most part, but it's something that he struggles with sometimes. And then, like I said, he doesn't like he does like textured foods, but he does not like mashed potatoes, anything that's kind of like a smooth texture, mashed potatoes or like yogurt. He likes ice cream. but he's not a fan of other smoothie textures. So I didn't think that he would have liked ice cream, but he does. I guess ice cream, even though it's like a smoothie type of texture, it still is a little bit different, I guess, because it kind of just like melts in your mouth. So, okay, let me see. I think we covered everything here. I think we covered everything here, you guys. So I really hope that helps somebody today. I cannot believe that we're already almost 20 minutes into this video as well, but it's a lot of symptoms so that that he had. And like I said, your child may only have 1 or 2 of these symptoms, and yes, they may still have autism. Your child may have none of these and they still may have autism. You may not even realize that your child has any of these yet. They cannot be diagnosed until 18 months old. So you may even start seeing some of these things go on at 1 year old. But I'm telling you guys, if you have a gut feeling, push your way before they're 2 years old, because you have to get them in early intervention and make sure. I don't care. I had the speech therapist telling me that he's going to need occupational therapy and developmental therapy, which he does. But I had them saying, well, let's wait a little longer to see, and then we'll tell you maybe if we think he has autism, and you can go to your doctor and get a referral. And I'm like, no. By then he's gonna be, I mean, a year of going through all that, and then by then, you guys, he would be out of the early intervention stage. And if you get into early intervention with first steps, like if your child normally has a speech delay, then you go to first steps and they can have the early intervention and they can be seen sooner. Do the best you can, and don't let other people stick their little fingers in your face. Even your pediatrician, even my pediatrician, seen him act some of those symptoms out in front of her face. He screamed for 45 minutes one day in her office, banging his head on the floor, doing all these things, and she's like, well, it could just be a normal toddler thing. And I'm like, it could be, but it also couldn't be. And if he came and all the other little symptoms that he was having, I'm just saying, go with your mommy radar, listen to yourself, and do not second guess yourself, and push your way. Push your way. We have to be their voices, you guys. Do not let people push you around. I was a first-time mom with my first, obviously, and I let people tell me that he didn't have it, or this or this or that, and now here I am, my other 2 with Sebastian having it. The specialist told me I need to make sure to get my other 2 checked out, because it's even double the chance that they could have it now that he was diagnosed with it. So if your sibling has it, it's double the chances that your other children will have it. And now they both have had symptoms of it with Sebastian. So if I would have known that 5.5 years ago, or if I would have just known more about this whole subject, you guys, you know, around the time that Liam, my oldest, is now 5.5. If I would have known that around that time, that would have been great. But like I said, I was a first-time parent. I didn't know anything about it. I was so naive to things. And don't let people push you around. And don't let family members, friends, don't listen to it. You're the one who's with your child more than anybody. You know your child more than anybody. Do not listen to it. I spent years of being almost laughed at, of people telling me your kids just are bad, you're this, blah blah blah, you're not doing enough, you're not reading enough, you're not this enough, you're not that. When in all reality, I was right. No, your kids don't have autism. No, your kids don't this. No, your kids don't that. Don't hold resentment, though, either, for those people in your heart. If you do find out your child has autism, you gotta let it go and you have to move on. But at the same time, listen to your heart and listen to your gut. Do not let people push you around. That's all I'm saying is, you guys, it's not easy. What I'm trying to tell you is, when I really had that feeling with Sebastian, which I had the feeling with the other 2, but I didn't listen to my mommy gut. I didn't listen to my mommy radar. I let everybody else tell me. I mean, you can go to your pediatrician and have all the symptoms of autism, and they might look at you and go, well, it could just be completely normal. So, no. You're right. It could just be completely normal, but it also couldn't be. So a pediatrician is not a specialist. Okay, your pediatrician is not a specialist. There's different types of pediatricians, but some can diagnose, but just your regular basic pediatrician, which is what my kids are going to, they are not specialists. They are not trained to know all of those things. Okay, so don't let anybody tell you, well, it could be normal. It could be, but it also couldn't be. So give me a referral. So I'm just letting you guys know we have to fight for our kids, and I never would have thought this in a million years. Never would have. So many people that I have talked to now that their children have autism literally said they had to fight to get in to see a specialist, and I'm like, why? What is the problem? What is the problem with people not letting their kids go to get diagnosed? Like, why are you throwing it off? Because here I am now, my oldest is 5.5, you guys. He's going to be starting school, and now here I am waiting to get diagnosed for autism, and it's going to be a little while. And how much better and easier things could have been if somebody would have really sat me down and told me about autism, explained symptoms, or done this. And it should have been my pediatrician. It should have been. I was just a young mom. I was 19 years old. I didn't even know what autism was. I didn't even know anything about autism. Didn't even know. And I just remember the 18-month thing that they had me fill out, and it wasn't even stuff like this. All these symptoms, it didn't ask me stuff like that. I remember one thing that it asked me, looking back, was, does your child get scared of the vacuum cleaner? And I'm like, I look back and I'm like, I put yes for that. And nobody ever talked to me about it. Nobody ever nothing about it. And there wasn't questions about symptoms like this that are like known for having autism. And if there was, I guess maybe there was, like the pointing, does he point at this? Does he point at that? Does he show you this? Does he show you that? And I remember putting that he doesn't. I remember even answering some of those questions, and they're like, nope, nope. Nobody ever came back to me. I didn't know all those questions had anything to do with autism. And when I put that he was not doing those certain things, nobody ever referred me nowhere. Nobody ever even brought it up to me to say, hey, this is a concern. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to add, one other symptom was the sleeping. He never sleeps. It's almost impossible to get that child to go to sleep. He doesn't like to take naps. He does take one nap a day, but it's very hard to get him to sleep. He stays up all night for the most part. And like I said, you guys, it's going to be a long road, but we're going to figure this out. And I'm just saying is, don't listen to all these people. Listen to your gut and just do the best you can. And I'm really sorry that this video was longer than my last. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped somebody. So I am going to go inside now, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.